We live, but it is an echo.
I think it's from us being dual live.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Hold on now. Who that? Is that you, George? Y'all go ahead and come on in as we get these technical difficulties figured out. We should get this sound right.
Chop up right now. Chop up show on YouTube. Consciously on YouTube.
Come on.
Bad echo coming through. So y'all just going over and hop over to YouTube right now. Be this on YouTube. Chop up show on YouTube. Consciously on YouTube. Me and our speakers over there right now having a conversation. Welcome trolls, welcome and all the haters, all the supporters, all, you know what I'm saying? But you rocking with it or not rocking with it, I encourage everybody to go over to YouTube.
What's good? We got Tony in the building, Kiki in the building, Jamar. What's good with you? Y'all see we got some we got the TikTok hard hitters in the building.
All right, cool. I just ended the duel. That should be fun.
Wasn't y'all called cult leaders at one point?
Oh yeah, my cult attire. You know what I'm saying? My cult attire.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like at this time of day, I feel like me and our speakers used to, you know what I'm saying? We used to people coming with the craziest ways of trying to generate some views.
And listen, at this point, I'm telling you, I'm nothing more. Not gonna lie. Wait, are we live?
Yeah, we live.
Yeah, we live.
All right. I don't want to say if somebody just said something in my comments, I wanted to clarify, but I don't want to say it on the show. It's all good.
We definitely live right now. Shout out to everybody tuning in, man. We're gonna give y'all time to come in. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's a lot of controversial clout chasers that like to manufacture bullshit to try to get some views. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Damo.
Definitely. And definitely shout out to y'all for bringing me on, man. I definitely appreciate it. Sometimes people think that, just because we all cool that, we can't get professional. You know what I mean? Even when we on each other platforms off of TikTok, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate the opportunity. And like I said, like you said earlier, like at this point, I'm convinced it's for views at this point. Because folk just literally will say the same thing. I done got so many variations of my name. I race bait. I racist. I speak misinformation. Oh, that's my favorite one right there. Topher started that one, and all the little conservative cronies, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I speak misinformation. I'm like, bro, y'all ain't got no original thoughts, man. Dang.
Hey,
but you know what?
Leroy.
We gonna get into it. But I think the fact that there are these internal tiffs that's happening, like with black people, like now. Because I remember, like, at one point, it was just like y'all and Trump supporters and conservatives. You feel me? And it's like now it's transitioning over to like the woke nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of vibe people know. We gonna talk about it though. We gonna talk.
Def.
Y'all say what's up as y'all come in the building. Pinky in the building. Deja, Soli,
unknown by
Lauren, Esperanza. You feel me? Let us know where y'all coming in from. We're gonna get it started in just a minute.
Yeah, man. Hey, tonight, man, we're gonna be getting into the similarities of the conscious community and the conservatives. We're gonna be getting into some recent things that's been going on in the state of Oklahoma, concerning some students. I say education is elevation. And then we also, gonna be getting into the expertise of I speak, aka
yes, sir.
I speak,
some social media entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? Because education is elevation, but we gotta get them coins too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because we got families to feed and bills to pay.
I know how it goes. Y'all know how I go. Now, Toya would not be able to join us this evening. She is at home in Kansas City with her beautiful family, Mama Curl.
Toya.
You know what I'm saying? The big sister of the show, Tiffany. You feel me? She's spending time with them. So hopefully she could put, hop in the chat, say what's up real quick. But we got a cool, you know what I'm saying, sub that came in and fill that spot though. You feel me? So it's gonna be dope.
You said we got a sub to come in? Oh
yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's the you feel me? It's a substitution. I ain't calling you the sixth man. I ain't calling you the sixth man. You know what I'm saying? It's like an all-star game. You know what I mean? It's an all-star game. Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, but
NYC, Houston, Texas, we got Fort Worth, California, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Can we not?
Cincinnati, Ohio, Hey, you know what? Hey, Lester J, we will not be talking about the Dr. Phil Dr. Phil interview with Angela Stanton. But if you go over to Chasing Reality, I did have the opportunity of doing an exclusive interview with Angela Stanton about JB's concerning, you know what I'm saying, her offspring or whatnot. You feel me? You can go over there and check it out. You know,
Straight up. Now, since y'all coming on in here, we can go ahead and get it started. Y'all know we definitely got to start the show the way that we always start the show.
how you
We
bring
gotta
them
get,
in?
yeah. Oh yeah, I got it. But we
Yeah,
gonna,
I thought you already knew that.
yeah. We got to get it in the right way first, though. Let's get it.
Me, my guys, we really live. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I drive. In the city, we gon' slide. Bet I be there pronto.
This is
Be there.
Silhouette. Go ahead.
Yeah. Be there pronto. We in the building. Shout out to Silhouette. You know what I'm saying? We, that's a black brand, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, but we in here. Y'all know what it is. This is the Chop Up. I am Damo, the political plug. And we here with a very special guest. You know what I'm saying? Before we get to the guest, y'all already know who my co-host is. Lee, talk to him.
Hey, y'all know it's George Lee, aka Conscious Lee. Don't forget to Lee. Y'all call how the political plug try to come at him by this hat. Somebody like, oh, this nigga got a big ass white Nike sign on his forehead. Like, boy, we don't get your money. Like, is it black
Pretty
owned?
good.
Yeah, shout out to everybody, in North Tulsa, man. Everybody in, you feel me, the Greenwood district, you feel me, was able to, go in. What wasn't the company called Silhouette?
Yeah, that's the company.
Yeah, that's what the place was called. Yeah, man. But yeah. And who we got with us, man? Gonna get the people.
On social media, I'm known as I Speak 1906, aka Anthony Hyland. Definitely make sure you look me up. Definitely, I'm glad to be here. Humbled. Sometimes, like we spoke about earlier, people who give me just a second, sweetheart. People look at our platforms and they think that we can't be professional. We can't take the suit off and undo the tie real quick and really get to the business. So I look forward to the conversation. Come on, relax.
Yeah, man, we glad to have you here too. You feel me? These are some of the TikTok heavy hitters, as I call them. You know what I'm saying? Like, when black people be like, man, did you hear that? It's either I Speak. Shout out to the OGT Nathan. You
Yes,
feel me?
sir.
Or Consciously. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
out.
Some people have called them cult leaders in the past.
Oh yeah, shout out to my cold attire, the Unk. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Look it up. ANKH.
You feel me?
It's not a cross. You know what I'm saying?
You feel me? But but the millions of views and likes and comments that these brothers get, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis, it's good to have, such a stature, you know what I'm saying, on the platform. Now we always miss Toya, you feel me? Always here in spirit, but we're gonna get it in. Now, before we get into the big chop, before we get into the interview, we always got to start it off the way that we started off, and that's with the snap chop. And it's a fucked up snap chop. Now in the state of Oklahoma, where George is residing right now, in the city of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and Ardmore is like like an hour from Norman, George, like an hour from where you at. In the city of Ardmore, Oklahoma, two students, elementary school students, were pulled from their PE class and told to turn their Black Lives Matter shirts inside out in order for them to continue with PE. Now the children, they did it with no hesitation. They did what they was told, like they supposed to. But when they got home and told their mom about it, it was some issues. Now, when the superintendent, who's the final say so on the dress code, when they were confronted with the issue, they said it had to do with political messages, and they had the same type of stance on MAGA attire being worn, and they wanted it to be in good taste, right? So they could have symbols and logos, but it had been decided that the Black Lives Matter logo and symbol and slogan was not considered in good taste, and it was considered political. Now, as parents, I want to get y'all perspective. What's your initial reaction?
I always err on the side of caution, especially as it relates to the school district. I know Lee is a current educator. I was a former educator before I went into the United States Navy. However, I always go to policy, right? Because my thing is, if my child if their dress does not go against school attire, in terms of their code of conduct, in terms of their dress code, if in fact they have one, then what's the issue? Because then when we delve deeper into the conversation, there goes to see some bias there. So my thing is, and that's the first thing that I always err on the side of, because at the end of the day, regardless of what we may think and feel, rules are put in place for a reason. Now, I'm all about going against the grain. When it comes to public school and my children, it's like some battles are just not worth fighting. You may win that battle, but they're going to win the war in the long term. So in this regard, I want to see what that policy looks like. And then, if it's being upheld across the board.
Now,
we're going to war.
Hold on, real quick. Real quick. Now, the policy, as they said, was the name, like slogans and logos are okay as long as it's in good taste. That's the policy.
As long as it's in good taste. So who determines good taste? See, I got questions.
Going to war, bro.
I got questions. Who determines good taste?
Yeah, man.
Who determines good taste? Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, about that. Who gets to determine that? And I'm just looking at it like, I don't who gets to determine that. I'm looking at it like, is this school district receiving public funding? Is it receiving federal funding?
Take that from him.
Federal funding. I want to say that this little shit they tried to pull goes against, federal policies about discrimination, about, public institutions and all that. And it's really like, y'all better hope I ain't really how I'm feeling right now. I'm wearing my Black Lives Matter shirt to school tomorrow.
Facts.
And I'm probably making my video about what you call about critical race theory deep in the state of Oklahoma. So
that's a weird conversation within itself. But I mean, I do feel like in terms of the policy, I guess the question that you asked is how, like, what gets determined as appropriate or inappropriate or in good taste or in bad taste. Right. The way that the superintendent defended himself was to say that they had also told students that they couldn't wear MAGA hats or MAGA attire. Now, one would look at that and be like, that's on like a level playing field. Like, well, you can't with
false equivalence all the way.
All the way. False equivalence. I wouldn't.
Why would you say that though? Why would you say it's a false equivalence?
I'm gonna say it's a false equivalence because Black Lives Matter opposition is not MAGA Black Lives. You know what I'm saying? It's not MAGA Trump supporters, and not only that, Black Lives Matter started in 2014. MAGA wasn't a thing then. So to automatically equate it to try to say this what it is like, hell nah, you feel me? And then too, in the state of Oklahoma, they make kids rock Confederate flags. So I don't want to hear shit about you don't want to hear nothing about no politics, this, that, and y'all don't want to hear nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, it's like if you can talk about taste, then I'm gonna go all the way quote unquote radical with it and say, well, in the state of Oklahoma, you shouldn't be able to wear no United States federal, so you shouldn't be able to wear no USA apparel in the state of Oklahoma because it is distasteful to the Native Americans here on, you know what I'm saying, here in this country, I mean, here in this state specifically, uniquely.
Yeah. What you think, Ant? Hold on. He relocating.
Nah, you good? Come on, y'all. I think holistically, just like I mirror George's sentiment because my whole thing is again I always go back to policy, right? So when you say, oh, they already asked them not to wear MAGA attire, my question then becomes, how then did you equate the opposition of Black Lives Matter to be MAGA when MAGA is the support literally of a political candidate? Make America Great Again. That was his slogan. So in this regard, now what you're literally doing is you're forcing something that is a literal movement to become political based off of what? What is your measuring tool? So in this regard, I would beg the question, how then do you equate a literal political slogan to a civil rights movement? And they're gonna have to make that make sense to me.
I think that particular false equivalency that y'all talking about is also echoed in the whole Black power and white power are the same thing type conversation. Like the way that they try to say, well, what's the difference between somebody saying white power and somebody saying, it's a huge fucking difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
The history behind those phrases, why they're said, the instances in which they're being brought up, the conversation that sparked when that phrase is said, those things are so like literally occupy. One is like an embracing of self when you're told that you represents bad, when you represent ugly, right? embracing black is like, no, like black is beautiful. Black is something that I should be appreciative of. White power was never about actual white culture. It was always about anti-blackness, right? Establishing, you know what I'm saying, establishing one's identity by fucking over another group in particular, right? Like creating supremacy by dehumanizing another group. Go ahead.
And let's go a little bit beyond that. Never at no point in history has pro-whiteness been seen as anything other than anti-blackness. So in this regard,
or we get to having
right. So then we get
anti anything non-white.
Right. So then we get to having the conversation about, okay, why do you really want to say it? Because then we get into the conversation of race and ethnicity. You get what I'm saying? They don't want to delve deeper into that because they want to uphold those tenets. What are those tenets? White supremacy. But they don't want to have that conversation though, because then they say you're making everything about race. And they say you being a race baiter and a race hustler. You know what I mean? Because you start calling out the nonsense and the inadequacies in their own statements and their own sentiments, and they don't like that too much.
Well, go ahead, George. What's crazy nowadays is saying that the United States federal government is a race hustle and structured by the race hustle, and it's sustained through the race hustle. And it's just like, if you got an issue with race hustling and it's what you saying it is, then you got to acknowledge what you really love. It's really structured by the race hustle. Specifically, the extermination of indigenous people and the enslavement of Africans.
Fact.
And let me drop some history real quick before we go ahead and close this Snapchat out. Race itself is a construct that is fairly new, between the 1600s and 1700s in terms when we're talking about human history, and its purpose is a hierarchy: top, bottom, white at the top, black at the bottom. Anybody pushing the concept of race is pushing a white at the top, black at the bottom hierarchy. Period. Like we try to make it seem like, well, no, it's this thing that's natural. No, there is a history to it. You know what I'm saying? In 1785, a scientist by the name of Carl Linnaeus introduced the concept of race into Western academia. And Carl Linnaeus, for those who don't know, is known as the father of modern taxonomy. So the way that we understand how organisms are classified, right? That system that he created, he introduced race into that as well. And that had to do with what he thought was his God-given understanding of the hierarchy of man.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So when niggas talk about what race hustling is, right? Like, nah, black people's relationship with race is a response, is a defense mechanism. Everybody else deploy it as a politic, you know what I'm saying? As a way to gain social capital. We got to defend ourselves from that shit. You know what I mean? But that's a deeper conversation. You know what I'm saying? We'll say that one for another one. But you know, that is the Snapchat, so we don't want to keep that too long. We want to hear from our guests. That's what y'all came here to, you know what I'm saying?
Came to get into
to see, you feel me? The million follower man. You know what I mean? I speak 1906. Let's go ahead and get into this. Big Chop. I Speak 1906 is in the building. Now, for those who don't know, you know what I mean? If you've been living on the rock, ain't been paying attention. Go ahead and introduce yourself to, you know what I mean, anybody who may just now be catching on, who ain't up on game.
On daddy duties right now. I speak 1906.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight
dad
game.
Dad game. You know what I'm saying?
I tell them, you know, daddy duties don't stop just because, you know what I'm saying, you on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, you know, fatherhood is elevation at this point.
Right.
All right, big dog. All right, I'm on TikTok live, so I ain't gonna get banned, so I'm good. You can be in the shot. Yeah, shout out to wifey. You know, she spent Mother's Day in Vegas. You know, giving her a much needed break. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I Speak 1906 on all social medias. You know what I'm saying? Google Anthony Hyland. A little bit about myself: spoken word artist, professional public speaker, entrepreneur. I also serve in the United States Navy. I'm an author. My book, The Purpose of Power, is available on Amazon. You can definitely go scoop that up. You know what I'm saying? It's a great book. It's an autobiographical sketch of the first 25 years of my life. You know, I figured, you know, I haven't lived long enough to write an autobiography. So I did an autobiographical sketch, you know, of some different impactful moments in my life and lessons that I learned as a result of it. So definitely glad to be here. Let's get it.
All right, now I want to start with the book. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and say it for me.
Autobiographical sketch.
An autobiographical sketch, right?
Yes, sir.
So you saying so pretty much the book is essentially centered around like moments in your life that defined you.
Yep.
What are some of the moments that you touch on in the book?
Let's see. Okay, since we on entrepreneurship, one of the things that I talk about in my book is how my brothers and I, we came up with this idea. So we used to hustle up at the Pathmark, right? Hustle legally, you know what I'm saying? Bagging bags, you know, taking the the patrons bags to their car. And this is around the time where, you know, people wasn't really, you know, trying to take their bags to the car. So we'd station ourselves at different places in the immediate area. So one person will be at the front door, one person will be at the rail, one person will be near the parking lot, one person would be in the parking lot, and we would all simultaneously work together to earn income for the crib. Because my mom at the time, she was dealing with some issues of substance abuse. So in that, and I'm gonna read just a little bit of it. I'm gonna break it down for you. Pretty much what we were earning. So this is I think this is chapter 1. Yeah. So in chapter 1, of course, I put a quote at the beginning of each individual one. Early stages of adolescence. A successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at him. David Brinkley. So in that, the breakdown goes this way. It says what went from $5 to $10 turned into 60 to 80 bucks per person per day. So let's do the math on both the high and the low scale. Working 5 days a week with 5 children, making at minimum $60 in a day. That would translate to about $300 a day, $1,500 a week, and $6,000 a month. But on a maximum scale, working 5 days a week with 5 children, making $80 a day, that would translate to about $400 a day, $2,000 a week, and $8,000 a month. Now, I am no way in professing to be a math whiz, but that is a substantial amount of revenue that's being generated. Now, the downside to that is, hey, check this out. Let it go. Caleb, let it go. In that, the substance abuse aspect of it was that we were essentially funding her habit, and we didn't know that. Once we got wind of it, we started, oh, well, you know, we didn't really make that much money. So instead of giving her the money, we would just buy the groceries ourselves, put them in the carts, take them down to the crib. And a lot of us, minus myself, learned how to cook very early. You know, I'm more of the cleaner. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of the dishwasher. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the bucket and the mop. You know what I'm saying? Not for the wop, but the bucket and the mop. You know what I'm saying?
Not for the wop, but for the flow. Not one playing it no more.
So yeah, so we learned very early on how to hustle, how to earn income, and then how to distribute that. And in that, I learned very early on that I wanted to be a boss. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to earn my own way. You know, I actually ended up getting a full academic scholarship to college. So I wanted to do a lot of things because I wanted to, not because I had to. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that in the path that I wanted to go, that, that useless piece of paper was going to mean something, you know what I'm saying, somewhere over the course
something to somebody, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
As you hold that baby in your hand, huh? Like.
There we go, And really and truly for me, even just, this dynamic here, setting an example for them, and showing them that, hey, you can work for yourself and earn income and have multiple streams of income, you know what I mean? That was something that we definitely we sought to do.
So let me ask you this, because I'm always interested, especially when it comes to black men. So what led you to the military? What led you to the Navy?
So damn near my whole family serves. All 3 of my older brothers are in the Army. One just retired after 21 years. My grandfather was in the Navy and my uncle was in the Air Force. So I knew I was going to join the military at some point. It's almost like I like to say that sometimes it's a rite of passage kind of deal. But it was just one of those things where it's like service is much bigger than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That and that's interesting because it's like for me, it was like because my mama was telling me I should look into the service because I was never a good student. You know what I'm saying? I was smart, but like I was always fucking up in school. So the service for me was like, nigga, some need to get you right. You gonna end up in these streets and that all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So
well, I went after college, so I think it was a combination of my fraternity.
So yeah, so that's a real that's a career choice. You feel me? Like
indeed.
when you because like I said, most niggas that we know specifically is like,
college,
get him out of there. Yeah, get Get him out of the streets, because y'all know how that story ends. So get him out of the streets. So to hear, you know what I'm saying, it's different when you like, nah, this is a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's big.
I'm curious. How do conservatives try to use your military background against you on TikTok?
Anytime I criticize the Constitution, they're like, "Oh, ain't you in the military fighting for the Constitution?" Because you give an oath to serve and protect the Constitution. So in this regard, the way I rebuttal that is service is bigger than you. And the easiest way that I debunk that is those that have never served can never tell me anything about service, because you don't know what that pressure is like. You don't know what it's like deploying overseas. You don't know what it's like. One of the main stories that I like to tell is when I was in Jordan. I got the opportunity to swim in the Jordan River, which was pretty cool. When I was in Jordan, I was on watch. I had an M4 and an M9, and a small Jordanian boy came up to me, and he looked up at me, and I'm gonna be honest, he wasn't supposed to be that close. You know what I'm saying? But he's a kid, and I didn't really see him as a threat. I was evaluating him as he was approaching, and come to find out he was just trying to get his soccer ball, which was in close proximity that I didn't realize. So in that regard, I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do in that moment, and that decision could have impacted me for the rest of my life. And he came up close and he said to me, "Nah, I'll never forget this. You being here makes me feel so much more safe." Grabbed his soccer ball and ran off. And those types of feelings, those types of moments, you can't quantify. So when they say, "Oh, the military-industrial complex, imperialism, all that stuff," it's like, big dog, have you ever raised your right hand and served? No, then shut the fuck up. Period. You know what I'm saying? And it's really, really and truly that simple. You know what I mean? Because you can't tell me anything about the pressures that come along with you have been targeted. You have been targeted for your military service in your uniform. You ever been profiled in your uniform? Stop playing with me. So in that, when they try to hit me with that, oh yeah, I shut that mess down quickly. Because my thing is this: you can still criticize something, although it's like capitalism. We live in a capitalistic society. You're not gonna get ahead if you don't get some piece of the pie. That don't mean you can't criticize it. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean you can't provide other options.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? But that actually leads me to another question I'm always interested to know about. I mean, because as a soldier, especially come from like a family of soldiers, like you've heard the stories of, what I'm saying, men going overseas fighting for their country, coming back to be treated like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the feeling behind that, the history behind even overseas, where you got white soldiers going to war with black soldiers, and they supposed to be on the same side type shit. You feel me? And so it's like, how do you kind of reconcile that to be you know what I'm saying, like in terms of, I mean, and not necessarily reconciling, like, but in terms of like making it make, I don't want to say make it make sense, but more so, yeah, I guess the best phrase to use would be to reconcile.
Essentially, how do I navigate that?
That's a good word to use.
Right, the common idea there.
I'm trying to be,
like that, like specifically that context. Like how do you approach?
So in that,
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, niggas are a bit more, confrontational when it comes to it. You feel me? Because it's like
the defense of that statement.
Yeah, because there is to some people, right? Like, especially when you dealing with, and we're gonna talk more about woke niggas a little bit later. But for some people, it is like you said, you've heard the arguments about imperialism. You know what I'm saying? But you understand racism, you understand colonialism. You feel me? And how those things function. So how do you as an intelligent black man, a conscious black man, navigate like your service and your consciousness and understanding of who you are?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's rough. It's not easy. One of the common misconceptions is that this is an easy thing to navigate, and it's not, because you have to essentially get your qualifications. Now, I'm in the Navy, so one of the things that I consistently tell people is that everyone doesn't deploy to combat zones. So when they say things like, "Well, all y'all do is go over there and fight for oil, and you're killing brown people for no reason," I'm like, big dog, I'm on a ship. And unless I'm boots on the ground, or IA, which is individual assignment, or spec war, which is special warfare, I'm not seeing no combat. Which is why when I bring up my military service, it's like, it's not to be no military badass. Listen, I drive small boats. That's it. I can drive the big boat and I can drive the small boat. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and things other, you know, in between and different qualifications that I have. But it's just more so the understanding of, like you said, you have to be able to recognize that which has taken place historically. And if you don't, that to me is where you get, you know, lost in the sauce of patriotism. You know what I'm saying? There was a video that was going around a little bit ago, and people kept tagging me in it. It was this guy burning the American flag, right? Now, for those of you that don't know, burning the American flag is covered under your First Amendment rights. However, me personally, I just don't think that there's anything intellectual about that. Do I agree with this? Like, you know, I don't think anything is solved by it, but it is a protected right. You know what I'm saying? So if someone decides they want to do it, I said I might not agree with it, but I understand it. And you can't just say, oh, I put this uniform on, all of a sudden I become blind to what has taken place historically. That to me would be an indictment of my own character and my own morals, and I refuse to do that. I don't operate. I think the best way to put it is I don't operate under the confines of groupthink. So there's certain things that when you join the military, or you know, when you become, you know, an individual in a protected system, they think that you're supposed to turn a blind eye to, and I just refuse to. Now I'm gonna be honest. It has gotten me in light trouble a few times, you know, called into the office. Hey, you know, we seen you on, you know, the news at this march, or, you know, we seen you, you know, at this protest. But see, here's the deal, too. We talk about education is elevation, right? Each individual service has a social media
Trademark.
policy. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Each individual, shout out to Conscious. Each individual service and branch, they have a social media policy. We're governed under what's called the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So as long as you understand the confines of what that is and what's allowed in that, I can't get in trouble. So while they can recommend I don't go to that march or recommend I don't go to that protest, they can't tell me that I can't go. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, I've always been the kind of person that I don't care what I'm connected to or who I'm connected to. I'm never going to compromise who I am for the sake of your comfort. I'm not doing that.
Hey, and shout out to the Dragon Ball Z picture behind you too. We peeping game. Is that Trunks? Is that Trunks?
Yeah, that's Trunks. Yeah. So I went to a Young Bosses conference in Virginia. I got to get the young man's name, but he was selling them. Young 13 or 14-year-old entrepreneur. I didn't care what he had. I said, I'm getting that. Yeah. I needs that. I needs all that.
Straight up. Now we got the, you know what I'm saying, your military service, you feel me, all out the way. That had that conversation. And I appreciate it when brothers is just honest about it, because I know some, you know what I'm saying, sometimes brothers get defensive because that service means that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit really means some shit. Kind of like the same way like we would talk about like when we engage in when niggas bring up debate to us, it's like nigga, you know what I'm saying? We done shed tears for this shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a different vibe.
Hey, I imagine, this out of my own curiosity, being in the military at the time of the Colin Kaepernick controversy, was it was it a divisive time to be a part of the military? I know you was part of the, like, I know you in the Navy, but I feel like I was curious of that. Like, what is?
I actually went viral a couple times on a couple people that tried to use the military as a means to go against Kaepernick. And I think the main argument and the largest misconception is that, you know, it's quote unquote disrespectful to the military when they didn't even know the origins of why he kneeled in the first place, not realizing that a combat veteran is the one that told him to kneel instead of
sitting down.
What's his name?
Yeah. Hold on. And you know, and I've made it my duty to ensure that anytime I have this conversation, so give me just a second, I want to make sure that I look up this brother's name, because I feel like we need to make sure that we're doing
Boyer, some shit. Boyer, I think it is. Nate Boyer. Yeah.
Yep, that's his name, Nate Boyer. Yep. NATEBOYER. You know, and you know, kneeling is one of the greatest signs of respect. Think about all the things that we kneel for. We kneel to pray. You know what I mean? We kneel to, you know, if you're traditional, to propose. You know what I mean? So he said, hey.
I just look at it like, I think that because I'm not in the military and I come from the debate background and I'm used to already having good critiques and criticisms of America, I'm looking at it from the hypocrisy of democracy and look at it like, hey, when y'all want to talk shit about socialism and communism and that country you call fascist, you talk about it in a way like, at least in this country, we're able to criticize. But but somehow you're always able to weaponize criticisms of the government. So I look at it like, damn, I thought that when you say freedom ain't free, I should be able to acknowledge the people over in the battlefields or over in the water or over in the air that is able to go fight for the right for me to be able to do X, Y, and Z. That's what y'all told me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's to kind of circle back to that. That's another thing. Another point of I guess refutation that I would have toward the whole it's disrespectful to the military. We're fighting for your rights, not to tell you how to exercise them. And that's the biggest misconception that people have. It's like, this one girl, she did a video. She was like, I stand for the flag because I stand for my dad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I will not accept that argument from anyone that has not raised their right hand nor received a folding flag, because, you know, I cannot adequately accept that as a response from you. And like I said, all service members don't go to war. You know what I mean? So that common misconception that
I see that as cap too. I see it as cap because a lot of people that make those type of arguments are the same people that say that if you talk about racial dialogue, you're always emotional, you're always being sensational, and you always pushing victimization. To me, everybody that was trying to weaponize the American government or weaponize the U.S. flag, or weaponize the anthem, it's like you're caught up in the sensational, emotional you claim that you dialectically opposed to. You always trying to sensationalize the flag or sensationalize, you know what I'm saying, some a family member that, you know what I'm saying, that did some service. Is like, yeah, that sounds like a big old contradiction.
Well, this is the thing, Lee. I think like Ant said, the idea of it all is about exercise. Like a right is something that's exercised. Whether or not you actually exercise it or how you exercise it is up to you. That's supposed to be the beauty of the shit.
Right. And then to go beyond that, they'll say things like, stop living in the past. Stop living in the past. Well, where'd that flag come from?
Exactly. And to take it a step even further, I said in as somebody who I watch news, you know what I'm saying, I follow politics, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm always up with the trend. I'm always watching to see like how like this is what's right now. You feel me? Because like politics has it's a short memory. You feel me? Like just even right now with the content nature that people like as a whole have with Democrats and Joe Biden, it's crazy that just an election ago, a presidential election ago, it was like I'm not even participating in the system because I don't want the same old, right? Yeah. So we see that these political memories are very short. All we got to do though is look to the insurrection. And that all of the people that was at the goddamn Capitol running that motherfucker over are the same people who said that Colin Kaepernick ain't got no respect for this country. That's the hypocrisy of the hypocrisy of democracy that George is talking about. You feel me? Like the conservative contradictions that George talks about. The fact 100%. That you are with like you get that mad over a brother taking a knee at a football game.
Talk about
but y'all will turn around and literally in any other instance, if that was a group of Arab Americans, that would have been called an act of terror.
With the quickness. You know
what I'm saying? They would have attacked our and the same people that's defending the people that are taking plea deals now, because y'all know they are throwing out plea deals. Of course they are. You know what I'm saying? They are throwing out plea deals. But those same people, right? Are the ones that are saying that Colin Kaepernick had no respect for this country and he should lose his job. And the people that defended that position defended the people like Donald Trump was one of the main people saying Colin Kaepernick should lose his job, but you love the people that had the Capitol shut down. A lady died. Yeah. Got shot in the neck. Cops died. Wasn't no Blue Lives Matter. At least Black Lives Matter is consistent.
And you know what the crazy part is? That wasn't no simple death. Like they be trying to water that shit down. Bro, I'm glad I'm not on TikTok. That shit was brutal. They beat that motherfucker with a fire extinguisher. Bruh. You know how hard you gotta hit somebody with a fire extinguisher?
A police officer.
Come on, man. And then y'all try to water that mess down? What?
Hey.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna get into it, but we gotta keep it about the interview. We got a couple more minutes on the interview, you feel me? Because we would be remiss if we did not get into the TikTok fame. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Now I know how George got into TikTok. I remember the phone call.
Yeah. That's how I asked. To the question I'm about to ask, like, hey, so specifically,
So
hold on, because
ironically
both of
enough-
y'all,
go ahead.
because both of y'all are icons. You feel me? Both of y'all icons on TikTok, Black TikTok specifically. You feel me? I remember the phone call from George, like, "Hey, bro, it's a lane." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lane. You feel me? Like, nigga,
Probably in like July.
bro, this was like
Either
July
August.
2018,
Yeah,
2019.
2019.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and create me a profile, see what's good. You feel me? Then, bro, taking off at this point. You know what I'm saying? So, what got you there? When did you see it? And how did you, you know what I'm saying, be like, fuck it, I'm about to put my foot
joined
down?
in November of 2019. Ironically
A couple
enough, the
months.
first person that my wife put me on, because my wife put me on a TikTok like 18 months before I even like legit joined, so to speak. She'd be watching the little videos, the little dance video. I'm like, I'm not doing that little dance shit. I'm good. And then she brings this guy across my scope with 250,000 followers talking about some woke shit. And I look like, if he can build a platform with 250K, I know I can build a platform.
Because look, you was thinking he country as hell. You can't even really understand half the shit he's saying, but he sounds smart. But he sounds smart.
Bro, what the hell? So in my mind, I'm thinking my bachelor's degree, for those of you that don't know, is in mass communications with a concentration in public speaking and journalism. So in my mind, I'm thinking, when it comes to this social media stuff, because I've been studying social media, it's so easy. People don't realize it's so easy to get people's attention. You just got to make sure that you follow their platform and figure out what their trends are. So when I started posting like my spoken word, my public speaking, stuff like that, they started mentioning me in the same breath as Conscious. So I'm like, all right, I got to get this man's attention somehow. So I started posting videos. I started tagging him in it. I said, all right, eventually he going to see like something going to blow up. They going to keep on tagging him. They going to keep on
First
tagging
video
him.
I seen was that poem.
Yeah. Same with T. Nathan. So when they started putting all three of us together.
Hold on, y'all. That ain't your first cousin. You lying.
Yo, my first cousin is B. Dot. Stop it.
You watch battle rap, man?
Yo, what? Yes.
Yeah. Hey, your cousin ain't that. Your cousin ain't no motherfucking B. Dot.
So I started off as like the TikTok poet, but then when I started doing my intellectual rebuttals, I saw an opportunity. Like you said, I saw that lane to establish myself as one of the top black male intellectuals. And I was like, I could do this. I could really do it. Because then I started looking at, me, I'm a firm believer in don't underestimate your competition, but also don't slight yourself as well. And my thing is, it's so many plates out here, we can all eat. You know what I'm saying? So I see what Conscious was doing. I see what T. Nathan was doing. And then Conscious duetted my video one day. I was like, nigga, we made it. And then T. Nathan duetted one of my videos one day. And I was like, okay, cool. So now we start, exchanging ideas. And then we actually like legit became mutuals and then started talking. I'm like, yo, these some real stand-up dudes. And then from there, I realized
we started talking all the time.
It's the mission. You know what I mean? It's the mission of what you stand for, what you fight for. Real, recognize real. That's a universal slogan that's always going to stand true. You get what I'm saying? So when I started coming across these pseudo intellectuals that would say, oh, you think you this, you think no. I stopped thinking years ago, bro. You still thinking. I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? So when I use the verbiage that I use, the rhetoric that I use, it's like, yeah, that's the same word, but it sounded differently, didn't it? Yeah,
Shout
I know.
out to Ebony too.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. TikTok. I'm gonna be honest, it kind of fell in my lap, man. I gained my first 100,000 followers my first 2 months of being on the platform. I was still trying to figure out how to use the damn green screen effect.
Hey, I feel the same way. Kind of fell in my lap too. I still was figuring out stuff, and then because I think because when I got on at the time I got on, you sound like you got on 2 months afterwards. It seemed like it was just easy for us to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I think y'all brothers. I really appreciate what y'all do because ultimately, y'all really got the personalities for it. You feel me? Like y'all are more so. Like me and George and I have been doing like social media shit for since like 2017, 16.
Yeah, since 16.
Yeah, so we've been trying to find ways to, to kind of really do do what you said, build a platform, and you know what I'm saying, watching y'all kind of grow and develop on TikTok in an extreme. I mean, TikTok one of the whitest spaces. You know what I'm saying, in terms of like all of social media. You feel me? Like TikTok is much whiter than everywhere else. And then,
but you know what I found though? You gotta be diverse. You get what I'm saying? Like for example, I seen one of the pseudo intellectuals try to bag on Conscious for dancing in his videos, talking about I'm all about the struggle, but this what you doing. And I'm like, big dog, You got 13,000 followers. He got 1.2 mil. Like, you can't compete when you don't compare, bro. Like, come on. You got to come with a better argument than that. And what I've come to find is that when they don't have a palpable argument, they go straight to personal attacks. They go straight to your family. That's how you know you got them. That's how you know you in their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same dude. No, not same dude. It's a different dude. Dude did 30. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Dude did 30 videos on me in 2 months. I've only did 3. All of them have done over 500K. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even at a mil. It's that easy to break down a narrative, vice you living and speaking your truth and doing it on such a consistent basis.
Hey, so what's the top 3 things that you would tell aspiring content media, you know what I'm saying, social media content creator? Like, what would you tell them are the 3 most important things to keep in mind when trying to build a following? Like 3. Big 3 for you.
Big three. Be yourself. Sounds so surface level, but you'll be surprised how many people are not being themselves. Number 1, be yourself. Number 2, be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent. And then number 3, get you a team. Get you a team. Get you, and more so, actually, let me go beyond that. Build a community instead of a following. I'll say that. Because when you build a community, one that'll hold you accountable, one that'll support you, you know what I mean? One that'll be there for you. I promise you, your social media experience is going to be different. Those that build a following typically fall off within the first 5 years of being on social media, unless they achieve something like the Tony Lopez's or, you know, the Lopez brothers, that it don't matter what they do, they can't do no harm. The James
just
Charleses,
random shit. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But look, I'm going to say this, though. Because as a nigga on the, you know what I'm saying, I got a little bit of a following, you know what I mean? People fuck with me a little bit. I don't do the dance videos. I'm not that good. I don't got that much personality. But the funniest shit that happened to me dealing with y'all TikTok niggas, you know what I'm saying? I had a sister who disagreed because I do the political shit, and I was talking about after Biden got elected, because I was big on let's not the Democrat shit, leave that shit alone. Let's get Trump the fuck out of here. Focus on that. But once Biden got elected, I was like, all right, let me get this off my chest. Fuck Joe Biden. Okay, we just had to get Donald Trump out of there. A lot of black people on TikTok started being like, oh, you're a coon, you're this, you that, you third, right? I had a sister come to me like, you need to be more like Conscious Lee. He know what he talking about. He would kill somebody like you in a debate.
But you know what's crazy
I'm like,
about that,
hey, go get him. I'm like, go get him. Bring that nigga over here.
What's crazy about this, they will prefer to pit us against each other than for us to come together. They would much rather.
They tried it multiple times with me and Anthony. They
man.
I done been tagging some shit. Or I didn't see him text like, man, y'all bullshit. Like, y'all don't know that me and this man hella cool. So go on with the bullshit. Like, me,
facts.
We gonna talk about this. Y'all moving around. Y'all,
You know what the crazy part is? My thing is, and I'm at a point now where it's like, and like I said, I'm so glad I'm on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, so I can just keep it all the way 100. I'm cussing folk the fuck out now. Like my filter is like damn near gone. You know what I mean? Because what happens is, and I tell people this all the time, I don't mind if you disagree with me. I welcome it. You know, that's how we exchange intellectual ideas. But what you cannot do is greet me with disrespect and expect grace in return. And we've seen that historically, to whereby we have been the recipients of so much historical violence. But then you tell me turn the other cheek. What? Oh, I'm gonna turn the cheek, all right, so I can plan my next move. You know what I'm saying? So I can grab that shwammy from the back. You know what I'm saying? So in this regard, I'm so sick and tired of folk attacking me. Like I said, Buddy did 30 Listen, right hand up, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Buddy did 30 videos. The minute I did my first one, oh, you sending all your followers over to my page to bully and harass me. Like, bro, you got videos at 50K, 60K, 100K, 1 something mil. I ain't say a word. I'm like, hey, do your thing, bro. Get your views up. You know what I'm saying? I know when you mention me, it's a hot topic because you look at all of the non-videos surrounding it, they barely jumping out the gym. They barely jumping out the gym. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, get your views, man. Go ahead, do your thing. And they push the same narratives. But the minute I put them all together, decimate them hoes, it's like the perfect tragedy.
Look, niggas be getting views off y'all. I'm gonna have to start a little fake beef with one of y'all niggas. Give my views up. Cause look, I done took a little hiatus from TikTok. I ain't been on TikTok in a minute. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, that nigga, I speak bullshit. You know
hey, I think this sliding us into this.
Yeah. This is
sliding us into this.
Well, look. Before we start, you know what I'm saying? To go and close out the big chop. Go ahead, give people the name of the book. You know what I'm saying? And then any other thing you want to plug real quick. And then we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into the next chop.
Oh yeah. We got to talk about this money though. We can't get off without talking about this money. Sponsorships. Make sure you securing sponsorships, man. People think that you just gotta have this big old platform. I got my first sponsorship at 300K. You get what I'm saying? The colorful hats that you see me wearing in my videos, you know what I'm saying? Generational Curse Clothing, all black owned businesses. You know what I'm saying? From me, you know what I mean? So far, you know what I mean? Black Sands Entertainment, shout out to them.
Shout out to fucking Black Sands, man. I'm a comic book nerd, bro, and I love that shit, nigga.
So my thing is, you know, we got to make sure that we get into this money. So anybody that ever wants to connect with me, you can connect with me. I speak 1906 on damn near everything. Don't connect with me on Facebook because you know some of y'all be weird. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, me on Facebook. I don't even
shoot me a message on Instagram. You know what I mean? You can't shoot me a DM on TikTok. I shut my DMs off. You know what I'm saying? Unless we mutuals. But other than that, yeah, fuck with me. Yeah, I'm about getting to this money. But the book, The Purpose of Power, is available on Amazon, or wherever books are sold. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. If you got any questions about book writing, publishing, all that, holla at me. Let's get it.
Yeah. Hey, somebody asked, you got a website for your merch?
Yeah, so my merch is on Spreadshirt. So if you go on my Instagram, the link is in my bio. And this one of my designs right here is a collaborative merch that I did with a Young Merc Fire called Goofy Gear. And on the back it say, I want all the smoke. Goofy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Straight up. Now, perfect transition. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead and close out of the big chop and go ahead and get into this conscious chop. Go ahead.
Yeah, so getting into the conscious chop. Recently, I think both myself and I Speak, aka Anthony, aka I Speak, has found ourselves, I feel like, in the intersections of conscious TikTok and conservative TikTok, you know, and just being able to feel like, you know what I'm saying, seeing a lot of videos from both of these communities being made, you know what I'm saying, about us. I've been able to notice there's a lot of consistencies against these so-called sworn enemies. You feel me? Specifically, just jumping straight to it. It's about sexuality and gender. You know, that people in the conservative community, the white supremacists, the moderates, you know what I'm saying, the extreme right conservatives all believe that women should do and be a particular way, and believe that the LGBT community should be and do a particular way. We also understand the same thing for the conscious community. I Speak. I know that you was asked a question specifically recently, man. Why don't you do no video? Like, why don't you do videos protecting black men or heterosexuality? Why don't you do videos defending black men or heterosexuality? Nigga, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, so that one baffled me. That one baffled me because I got a video about Ahmaud Arbery. Of course, I got videos up of George Floyd. What's his name? Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Casey Goodson Jr. And I'm just like, I don't defend black men? What the heck? Okay, all right. And then heterosexuality. My thing is, when has it ever been under attack? Heterosexuality is the norm. You know what I mean? So when has it been under attack? And point me in the direction of the attack. And when I say things like that, they can't point me in the direction of it. There's this LGBTQ narrative to strike down the black man from the black family. Show me. It sounds good as a talking point, but show me. And they can't show me. So when Buddy asked me that question, I'm like, okay, well, first and foremost, he made the statement that I have to convince the 30 and up I lie to you not. I got to convince black TikTok 30 and up that I stand up for heterosexual men and I'm sorry, that the heterosexual black family and black men. And I'm like, bro, you know how goofy you sound even saying that to me? with the platform that I have and the history that I have, yeah, you sound crazy. And it makes it seem as though, like you said, you just clout chasing, throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the wall, hoping something sticks so that you can get some views. And then when I destroy your arguments, you got nothing to say. And then you go after he same pseudo went after my comment that I put on your video instead of actually addressing my arguments.
Hey, and it's that like I you spitting, but I think Cairo got you beat, bro. Cairo is really the one dropping the knowledge. Right? Cairo dropping knowledge right now. Yeah,
they get on your nerves too. I knew it. I knew
it.
Yeah,
Almost like mommy boy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
boy.
Yeah, just like it. But look, let me ask what I think is interesting about how like that question. You feel me? It's like. Niggas is acting like the whole conversation around like police brutality, all of that type of shit isn't centered around black men. Like the entire conversation, like Black Lives Matter was something that came out of Trayvon Martin. Right. So if we're having this conversation, the idea that black men aren't being included, I just don't. They're the springboard.
I think that there's a piece of, and I found out the piece of the puzzle that was missing today. The not just misogynoir, but misogyny that exists within the minds of these individuals, that they somehow think that manhood or masculinity in some way, shape, form, or fashion is under attack. So that same person says that women, I can't make this stuff up. They said, what do you expect out of women? What is a woman's role? This man literally said in his long-winded explanation to be silent. To be silent. Are you serious? Bro, are you living in the 1800s? You think these women finna shut up? Hell no. Nah. And see, my thing is...
Was it Eldridge Cleaver that said that the role of the black woman in the movement is prone? Was it Eldridge Cleaver?
Stokely Carmichael
that said it. Yeah.
So I'm like, big dog. I don't know what era you living in. I don't know who slipped you some pseudo documentation or some pseudo scholarly journals. You know what I'm saying? That got you thinking that these black women is just out here just finna do whatever the hell you tell them to do. Yeah, we live in a different age. And you know what I appreciate about this age now, especially as it relates to the women, and we're going to get into the LGBTQ conversation. We definitely going to get into that. But I think this whole idea of, this whole idea of this whole struggle love, you know what I mean? I was talking about this yesterday on my live. This whole idea of this struggle love that has been sensationalized over the course of our history as, the black community, that you have to struggle with an individual or just accept anything from them because they love you, because they taking care of you. It's like, big dog, do you not know that black women are the leaders in entrepreneurship and starting businesses? What? And you listen, and this idea that masculinity is structured by dominance over the woman. Come on, big dog. You got to check yourself.
That's what they is. But I feel like his brother literally said, I want a woman that's submissive, that's healthy, fitness, that know how to shut up and be silent, that's just like support me. He was like, bro, you sound like you talking about
a slave.
Well, I mean, because this is the thing. I think one thing that we dealt with in debate was like a lot of white feminism. You feel me? Like as a part of like when we would make arguments about racism, you know what I'm saying? In particular, as black men, how we experienced it. The weapon that a lot of women in debate utilized was like white feminism in terms of men being dangerous and in these conversations. And what was interesting about black feminism as opposed to white feminism is what delineates the two, what distinguishes the two, is the relationship that black women have with black men. You feel me? And what's happened is white or black men are adopting white perceptions and concepts of masculinity and relationships and understanding of what a man is in general, and they putting blackface on it. Ain't none of this shit got anything to do with actual black men and what matters to black people. Because to black men, our relationship with our women, nigga, our relationship with our prone, nigga, submissive. Who are you talking about?
Facts.
I think that when it comes to the conscious community and it comes to the conservative community, we see there's a consistency of some bullshit, shallow ass criticisms of feminism. We know that a lot of the conscious community loves to just reduce the entirety of black women and feminism as being like that white shit. You know what I'm saying? We know the entirety of the conservative community loves to reduce feminism as being some liberal shit. And we see that they usually regress to the same hubris of being like, you start talking about empowerment and progression. I think you're trying to victimize yourself, and or you're trying to be a man, and or you're trying to kill men, and or what about this, that, and the other? It's just like, to me, it comes from the same thing to me. That's the reason why when I talk about patriarchy in the conscious community, I always call it plantation patriarchy, because to me, it's like, be like the white man. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping the conversation going, though. We know that though racially, a lot of the conscious community and a lot of the conservative community have a bunch of disagreements. You know, when it comes to the LGBT community uniquely, you know, that's where a lot of the agreements fall on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of the agreements come on. We know that both the conscious community and the conservative community believe that the LGBTQ presence is a threat to children. We know that both the conservative community and the conscious community, you know what I'm saying, both believe that LGBTQ is going to be the death of the entirety of humanity because they can't reproduce. We know that. I keep on naming a whole bunch of this. What are y'all thoughts specifically about how these two things are similar, and what specifically do you think it says about the conscious community?
I think it's really more so caught up in a lot of, you know what I mean, the Judeo-Christian rhetoric and understanding of like men and women, and right, where like, so regardless of how far we go outside of like being woke, you know what I mean, like it's certain things that we don't question. Like, you're not woke if you, and because I mean, as much as we kind of are, even being Hotep, you're not woke or Hotep if you subscribe to mainstream perceptions of sexuality and gender. That's not woke. I mean, because essentially what you're doing is you're fitting yourself within a normative standard that you could benefit from. That's the definition of privilege. That's the definition of privilege. And even your benefit isn't the same, because black masculinity or black heterosexuality isn't seen. Black heterosexuality is dangerous because we've been hypersexualized as beasts, as sexual beasts. So it's not even the same. Like, you're not, like, black men are not seen as the same masculine body, a masculine subject as white men are. And so to attempt to and I'll just say this, so attempt to subscribe to that or interpolate that type of perspective onto black people in general, you do so fallaciously because mainstream society doesn't give you that. And the only person you use that normative type of understanding of masculinity to really marginalize is black women. They're the only people who suffer from it.
And that's exactly what I was about to say. And then in this regard too, will also really and truly, I think it's more of an intellectual slap in the face that will stand in front of you, stand confidently in front of a microphone or in front of a camera and say that the patriarchy don't exist. To say that we don't have, individual, advantages as straight men. You know what I mean? Not even just as black men, as straight men. So in this regard, when we start talking about the intersectionality of the LGBTQI plus community, I'm gonna be honest. From my upbringing, it's been more so, even with the conservatives, liberals, the quote unquote woke community, it's been from the church. It's been specifically from the church. And I'm gonna be honest, I had to become liberated from that thought process myself. Now, I've always been taught to just treat people with love, kindness, respect, all that good jazz. But my grandma, she was old school. Hey, she'd walk around the house, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll say stuff like that.
Shit, my grandma, bro.
It'd be like, bro. And I mean, I ain't gonna go all the way there with some of the stuff but she was pretty brutal. You know what I mean? And my little brother is gay. You know what I'm saying? But we never treated him any different type of way. You know what I mean? We always accepted him. We was there for him. But as I got older, and I always like to shut, especially conservatives, down with this. Well, in Leviticus, it says, you do know that was changed to fit an anti-LGBTQ narrative in 1942, right? Well, show that to me. Show that to me.
I go more petty than that and be like, hey, the same Leviticus say you shouldn't be eating swine and mixing your polyester and your seal and your silk.
Oh yeah. See, that's the follow up. That's the follow up. They pick and choose which,
you like crab legs and shrimp. Oh, that's against they go against the word too.
They want to perpetuate off onto a community when really and truly that text never said that. So in this regard, and if we go a little bit deeper than that, and I know, Conscious, you like to go way, way back to the tribes, you know what I'm saying? typically they be so shallow-minded. I don't even have to go back that far. They don't even be worth the intellectual exercise of going back that far. You know what I mean? But when you put things into full context, it's necessary.
But that's I think it's important to go back that far because they lying about history.
Yeah,
because even the conversation that we had before the show in terms of making sure that we're not necessarily positioning ourselves against a pro-black position, but more so just the misogynist, you know what I'm saying,
right.
heteronormative position. Because ultimately, people they try to say, well, the concept of manhood in terms of blackness is as such, but the concept of manhood and blackness has been to deny the black man that concept, like that positioning.
Right.
You feel me? So you have the luxury now in a modern society to attempt to adhere yourself to the white concepts of masculinity, but ultimately that's not something that benefits you. That's why we getting shot. Like that's why they fear for their life when they pull niggas over and shit. Because that black, that's not masculine, that's beast-like. Yeah, it was a comment that was talking about it was Rings of Blaze said nobody cares about the masculinity or femininity when they don't believe we human.
Yeah, and which goes into the idea that with a hypercriminalization, hypersexualization, of not just our minds but our bodies as well. So in this regard, when they see us, they see what was the guy named Jonathan Price? Back the blue. Back the blue. And all my man was doing was going to go shake that cop's hand. Yeah. That cop didn't see a black man. He saw an animal. And what did he do? Shoot him down like an animal in the street.
Nuance, though. I think we have to take the idea that it's not necessarily about femininity or masculinity, is that we're not seen as human. I think we have to take that with nuance, because a lot of the times that's how a lot of people in the conscious community are able to diminish the identity of being non-straight, you know what I'm saying, or the identity of being non-cisgender. It's saying that you feel we should care about being black first because the femininity and masculinity doesn't matter. It's all about how they deny all about humanity. And I think that though that is true, I think that we should be nuanced with it, because I think that it's not ironic that black trans women have the lowest life expectancy of the black community. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I feel like just having this conversation right now, especially thinking about the few people that we've mentioned, that is usually their argument about why I'm an agent, about why I'm pushing the gay agenda, or about why, you know what I'm saying, I should focus on being about black first, or why black women should focus on being black first, or why, even though I ain't got no issue with the LGBTQ community, but if they black, they gotta focus only on being black first and just black. And this is like, because you think that the only thing is how anti-blackness denies humanity, and you don't recognize how the textures of how humanity is denied.
Right.
And McNeil said it's levels to that shit.
And in it too, I think that there's also a bit of really and truly calling it what it is, a bit of toxic sentiments had towards, for example, this idea that gay men are weak. I done seen some gay men with some hands, like
I've seen many of them,
golden gloves. You know what I'm saying? That all of a sudden you just pull up on them and they just finna, this whole idea that they're just, ridiculously effeminate, and that, they're not men. They don't fit the standard of what a man is. And I've seen that more so from the conscious, woke, so to speak, community than the conservatives. The conservatives, from what I've seen, has been more so man should be with woman, woman should be with man, protect the family, traditional Christian values. And it's like, again, when you put that Christian values on there, then we got to have a historical conversation about where that came from. And then once you debunk that, now it's like, all right, what leg do you have to stand on? You no longer have a leg to stand on. You get what I'm saying? So in this regard, my question then becomes, so what is your real beef? And then when you get to the crux of things, it's really and truly and I had to, and shout out to you, Conscious, for putting it this way, because I never even thought about it like this. A lot of people say, oh, you're homophobic, you're homophobic, you're homophobic. And it's like, nah, you homo negative. And that never entered my thought process. Like, all right, they might not fear, people of the community, but it's like, you definitely got some negative sentiments toward the community.
Hey, I used to try to give them the benefit of the doubt, to be like, and too, I used to think about it from a debate standpoint. Like, you know what? Yeah. I don't even want to deal with your bullshit ass explanations about why you don't fear nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going this terminology I'm gonna use. But these days, if you start talking about pedophilia, or you start talking about, you know what I'm saying, people being turned out, or you start talking about extinction, that's fear and paranoia. So you do have homophobia. That is using fear and paranoia to be able to have an irrational hate against, you know what I'm saying, people like that. That's textbook.
And then utilize that same rhetoric to justify the brutalization and or mistreatment of the community.
Yeah, but a lot of them be homo negative, and they're just trying to be like, they're trying to me in my mind, I feel like in the 1960s, when integration became a thing and black people started being represented politically, socially, and economically more, I imagine white folks being like, I don't have a problem with the niggers. I just don't want to see the niggers all on my TV. You know, I don't have a problem with those blacks. Do we have to go to school with them? You know, I don't have a problem with the African Americans, but I feel like they're being forced onto us now. To me, in my mind, that's what a lot of black people are saying. I don't have a problem with the gays, but they shouldn't be on. Like,
I shouldn't have to. They shouldn't exist. But look, I think the issue that we run into is that even the most woke nigga will be like, "Hey, we should reject all things associated with this society in terms of how it's founded." Right? They'll give you a reason to undermine any normative value. Oh, you listen to the news, brother? You don't need to listen to the news. Right? Oh, you reading book, brother? You don't need to be like, you go to college, brother. You don't need to be, you know what I'm saying? All of these instances where the information that's coming from these people is problematic. That means that there's nothing that we've been taught or socialized to believe in that as black people we should be conservative about. That's why I think black conservatism, which is a very I want to say it's unique, but it's really just an instance of cognitive dissonance. And not in terms, usually when we talk about cognitive dissonance, we talk about it in terms of not being able to grasp a certain concept. But it's also about, and shout out to Toya for breaking this down, it's also about holding conflicting beliefs, conflicting perceptions of self. Black people shouldn't be conservative about shit in this country. Hey, there's nothing of value, especially when it comes to identity, that we should be like, okay, we can keep that. Because everything that we do, if we're talking about working towards progress, that means all of those, anything that's associated with with a structural thing as it was established, as black people have moved through this country, has always had some tinge of anti-blackness to it. It's always been just good enough.
And I've never gotten a response when I've asked a black conservative, because I'm gonna be honest, I've never heard a black liberal call themselves a black liberal. So when I ask these black conservatives, number one, what are you conserving? I have yet to get a response. So if anyone watches this video and you're a black conservative and you're in the comment section, please explain that to me, because even from a simplistic standpoint, I genuinely want to know, what are you conserving? And then on top of that, you'll say things like, oh, we're not playing identity politics, but you want to categorize yourself as a black conservative. You know what I mean? And, I'm a firm believer in, we can have different, sets of political views, but when those political views start going off into human rights, that's not difference of a political opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's you literally working to uphold the system of oppression against marginalized groups of people, regardless of whether you say it's a victim mindset or an oppression mindset, or whatever they want to gaslight you and call it. It's like you're perpetuating that. You're upholding the tenets of that. And what do we always circle back to? White supremacy. It is what it is. But somehow, some way, they're I call it the top cronies of the conservatives, aka the black conservatives, aka Candace Owens and Officer Tatum, all them goofies. They'll say one thing, and the smaller non-thinkers, because you can genuinely tell the ones that can legitimately think for themselves. And then you can genuinely tell the ones that it's almost like going to war, right? You can tell the generals that know how to be generals. You know what I'm saying? They respect the president. You know what I mean? They respect whomever the leader is, but they know how to be a general. They know how to make decisions when it's time to make a decision. These goofies, they don't know how to think for themselves. They're waiting on battle orders. As soon as I start hearing a consistent criticism of a specific political standpoint, I say Candace must have did an interview somewhere. Tatum must have did an interview somewhere. Let me go find it. Let me go find it so I can get the full context of what they talking about.
Well, now he's talking about whenever the conservatives go off on some shit, it's only because one of like the conservative faces have gave them a talking point. Because that's really all it is. It's like somebody online and gave like some personality, you know what I'm saying, and gave them something to run with, and so they running with it. There's not an original thought amongst the group. Whether you talking about because I don't really engage with like the dudes on Instagram like that, bro. Because I not Instagram but TikTok. Because I got so little respect. I think they do it for clout. I think they do it for views. Like I don't think any of these brothers actually, bro, you know what I'm saying, believe any of these positions.
There's no way you can convince me that you can stand in front of a camera intelligently and say racism and racism is a system in itself. I don't even know why I even entertain that idea of systemic racism, because racism is a system. But nonetheless, to say systemic racism doesn't exist, it's all.
Hey, Tyler Blutman already got that work, bro. Tyler Blutman proved them niggas be lying.
I'm like, what?
Hey, Tyler Blutman,
you didn't mean that.
Hey, he already got that work. Boy said, well, it may exist on smaller local levels. Then it exists, motherfucker. Like, fuck is you talking about? Like, it's that bad, bro. It's that bad. But that actually speaks to because I was doing some research just on racism and anthropology, right? And concepts of race kind of create, like, it replaces methodology. People don't really work to understand things when they can use race as a proxy, for example. Right, so like it was because I was critiquing the concept in the way in which like people on YouTube in particular, like especially like the woke black, you know what I'm saying, like the woke black conservatives that be like, everything is black, you feel me? When you looking at the way that they deploy these concepts, they don't really work to understand the people that they talking about. They really just deploying the politics of race to try to create value. Problem with that is, what ends up happening is you end up recreating, right, an understanding of who these people are based on today. You don't understand them for them, but based on today. And one anthropologist, when she was talking about how the concept of race didn't exist in ancient times, there were some English archaeologists that found some stone tools, and when they found the tools, they was like, "Oh, these ancient people that use these, they had to be ancient white people." And the thing and what she discussed was that shit made no sense, because it's like, just because you found some tools, that don't tell you who the fuck they were. It just say who fucking used them. But it's when you deploy politics of race, there are certain things that you want to affirm, so you work backwards to make that make sense. And that's what black conservatives and I don't want to say black conservatives, because some of these brothers, like the one brother King, Hebrew Israelite, the Hebrew Israelite brother that's coming at George.
The Hebrew Israelites don't even claim to be black conservative.
They don't claim that conservatism. You feel me? But that's the seat that they sit in, right? They sit in a Bible based, which ends up it don't even really be in a Hebrew. Like, y'all really evangelicals, if we being honest. Y'all evangelicals who deploy the language of Hebrew Israelites to make a point, but all y'all doing is kind of running with a Christian narrative. It ain't even a Hebrew narrative; it's a Christian narrative. You know what I'm saying? And centered around, and y'all attempt to, again, like I say, y'all just put it in blackface. It's cheap.
Yeah,
it's cheap. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Lee.
Hey, I feel like in closing this conversation, we know that a lot of conservatives and a lot of conscious people need to think about, you know what I'm saying, how y'all really unified, more unified than y'all would like to be. The question is, do y'all like this unity that y'all have? Do y'all like having consistencies of how y'all thinking about gender and sexuality? Or, you know what I'm saying, does it make sense? Do y'all believe that's divine natural law? You know, in 2021, going in 2022, you feel me, and beyond, I think that in order for us to really, I feel like as both people say that Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, and whether you, regardless of what you're saying, there has to be some consistency with how you orient yourself towards trans, Black, non-gender conforming people. You know what I'm saying? Whether, you know what I mean, no matter, I feel like you have to, like, it's people in the LGBT community, in the white community, in the Black community. What you gonna do about it? What do we do about this, man?
I would definitely say in closing as well, I think that we need to ensure that we're having more equitable conversations in this regard. and not shutting out the voices of others, because that happens a lot, especially when people disagree on things. I think that when we have equitable conversation, we can come to more equitable solutions, as well as more equitable common ground. And not even just, because I'm going to be honest, I hate that idea of common ground. Because I feel like most oftentimes that comes after they've done messed up and know they've messed up and shut off the opportunity to have that open dialogue. And when you can come together, even when you have, I hate these narratives of differences of opinion. Really and truly, you just have a different mindset. You know what I mean? Or you have thought processes or intellectual ideas that are outside of the norm. Like myself, I don't operate under the confines of groupthink. You know what I mean? So a lot of times the things that I think and I feel, I can't say half the shit on social media because I know the type of fire that'll come along with that. You know what I mean? I know the type of signal that'll come along with that. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
if y'all think the shit I say on the internet crazy, imagine the shit I don't say. How crazy.
Listen, they give me smoke for the stuff that I do say. Just imagine how much I'm holding back. That's why I said at this point, my filter is gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm lighting folks up.
I can still be a little reckless. I only got 30,000 something followers. I can still be a little reckless with mine. Look, people be like, how could Conscious Lee say this? Oh my God. Look, and that's the thing. I'm not bro. I am not a person that does well with followers. Cause soon as somebody that follow me try to hold me to some standard, I get the fuck off my page. Unfollow me, goddamn. Give a fuck. Y'all know who you talking to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna try to get back into the TikTok game, man. I'm gonna try to catch up with y'all boys. Shout out to my homie she Perfect Profit on TikTok. That's George debate partner, bro. He doing his numbers. He getting this shit up too, man. If y'all ain't heard of him, at Perfect Profit on TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's the heavyset black dude.
Yeah, fat cuz.
He nasty boy. He nasty
that's my debate partner.
Yeah, I rock with him. He nasty with it.
Yeah, that's my boy. First black top speaker at the NDT, man. We got a motherfucking pedigree. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
we come from that shit. Yeah, but we gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, man. It was a pleasure, you know what I mean? Like I said, to have a TikTok hard hitter in the building. I speak 1906, man. We're gonna have you back on the show when we got Toya on here. Really kind of get, you know what I'm saying, get into some of these conversations that y'all be having on TikTok, because y'all really be pushing the envelope, man. Y'all really be setting the stage, setting the tone for what needs to be discussed.
And we ain't gonna stop.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try to catch up too. Y'all may see me cussing somebody out on TikTok here soon. But y'all make sure y'all follow us at the Chop Up Show on YouTube, at the Chop Up Show on Instagram, at the Chop Up Show on Facebook. You can find me at the Political Plug on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Lee?
Hey, consciously, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com on everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, hey, man, I really feel like, man, these past couple of days, I really just been caught up in the intersections of conscious conservative bullshit, really on all the social media platforms at this point, man. To the haters, man, whenever I'm feeling froggy, I want y'all to leap y'all last son to this live. I'm gonna bust y'all head, whatever you want to bust.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ant, we got the we got the hashtag debate me series, bro. If you ever, you know what I'm saying, want to, I mean, I know you got your channel too. You know what I mean? We do the thing. But if you ever want to bring some of that smoke over this way to chop up, we'll be more than happy to provide, you know what I mean, a place for that conversation. You know, niggas be trying to be like, man, I don't want to go to your page. I don't want to be on your channel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Because they say, oh, they don't want me running. I'm going to be honest. I still haven't even figured out my AdSense account. So my YouTube not even monetized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Damn. Me either. I ain't thinking about that.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out and get that straight.
I've been working on, because I've been doing this shit in the background for George. So yeah, it's we've been working on trying to get all this shit monetized. We gotta get them chop up numbers up as well to get that monetized. But we gonna get it worked out. Where can they find your page, your YouTube and everything? Eh?
Definitely, Anthony Hyland, Hyland. Typically, people put HIGH. You find me on you can find me on YouTube. I speak 1906 on everything else. What happened to the over 30?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Yeah. Go ahead, handle your business. Okay. Go ahead, put your shit. I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah, The Purpose of Power, available on Amazon. That's my book. Oh, my album, Metaphorically Speaking, my spoken word album. You can go pick that up, download that. It's available on all streaming platforms. And definitely appreciate the opportunity of coming on.
For sure. So the Over 30 podcast, yeah, for anybody interested, it is. We actually went through some rebranding. You know what I'm saying? Because we focus more on astrology, and that science of self. You feel me? So if anybody want to get y'all natal chart read, all of that, we will be getting back to it. We got a whole relaunch that we working on for that podcast, which is a little different. I'm trying to get Huey to let go of my headphones so I can finish. All right, thank you, sir.
Yes.
But yeah, so we'll be back with the Over 30 podcast here soon. Ali, I definitely appreciate you for asking. But thank y'all for joining us. Great conversation.
Absolutely.
Definitely watch the conversation continue to develop as these woke niggas end up getting cooked in these debates, because y'all know they about to be getting set up soon. You feel me? And we're gonna be on it. Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to all the brothers, follow all the platforms. Y'all know we gotta end the show the way that we start the show. We see y'all next time. This is the Chop Up.
Me, my guys, we really lie. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I